Here, we're going to take a look at a guard pass that Royler uses extensively. He's used this a lot throughout his career. It's one of his favorite guard passes, and Royler is well known to have mastered this position. It's amazing to see that even if Royler's opponents are aware of the pass, Royler still passes their guard with ease. We have here a great example in a Mundial match. Royler has a grip on the opponent's collar. Once he gets a grip on the opponent's leg, he passes the guard quickly and dominates the opponent. Royler has his own version of the classical cross knee pass. Let's see the details that make it different. The position starts inside the open guard. Your right hand is on the opponent's collar and you maintain a strong posture. Your left hand grabs the opponent's pants right on the bottom, close to the foot. As you're still on your knees, the opponent doesn't expect the cross knee pass. You then stand up with your left leg, stepping in base. Then watch how Royler combines three moves at the same time. He pulls the opponent's leg inside his leg, pulls the opponent's collar in a circular motion, and he also crosses his knee to pass the guard. When you stand up, your left hand pulls the opponent's leg inside and underneath your legs. At the same time, you pull the opponent's collar. These two movements are controlling the opponent's body in the circular motion. Your right knee should slide to the side and then to the front. After pulling the opponent's leg underneath you, you can let go of the grip and grab underneath the opponent's head. You then get on your knees in the side position. This guard pass is a very efficient technique to add to your game. However, you'll have to repeat the position many times to get the right coordination. The key is to control the opponent and make him turn in a single movement. This puts the opponent in a very difficult position and neutralizes his defenses. In taking a look at the Mundial match, right after the opponent opens up his legs, Royler gets his grip on the pants. He doesn't give the time for the opponent to adjust the position to play their open guard. Royler stands up right away and slides his knee through to pass the guard. The opponent tries to prevent the pass by putting his leg in front of Royler's body, but Royler closes the space and gets to control of the position. Royler is fighting here in a national tournament. Once again, this historic footage illustrates a technique that is still used in today's competitions. Royler's opponent is actively trying to unbalance Royler in order to try and avoid the pass. Royler makes a very stable base with his left leg. This allows him to quickly switch his knee position and distribute his weight on top of the opponent. Royler went directly from the cross knee pass to the mount position. He now stabilizes the position and ends up on top of his opponent. This is a very strong position because it allows you not only to pass the guard, but also to get into the mount position. Just like the prior position, you will need to repeat the position many times to get the right timing. Once you get the right coordination and balance, you will easily switch from the cross knee pass to the cross knee pass to mount position. As you master the position, you will be able to only focus on the opponent's reaction, so you can play ahead of them. Royler starts the position with his left hand on the opponent's sleeve and his right hand on the collar. When Royler puts his knee on top of the opponent, this one secures his leg and his foot. Royler crosses his knee to the side to put it on the floor. As the opponent is securing Royler's leg, he is forced to turn his hips on the side. This movement allows Royler to control the opponent's hips. Right away, he switches his knee to the right side to get to the mount position. The hand that was on the opponent's collar comes underneath his head. When you get your right knee on the ground, your left foot pushes on the opponent's thigh in order to free your right foot. Once you get your grips, you have to cross the knee, switch sides, and go right away toward the mount position. This quick change of direction makes the opponent confused and is hard to defend. You should make sure you have good control of the opponent's upper body and then free your foot to get into the mount position. Let's take a look once again at the competition footage. Here we see Royler is playing the top position, distributing his weight according to the reactions of the opponent. He puts strong pressure on the opponent, who is too late on Royler's sudden change of direction. Once Royler switches his knee to the right side, the opponent doesn't resist to Royler's pressure, and the opponent has to give him the pass, and ultimately the mount position. Here we have a Mundial match in the open division. Royler has good control and is very attentive to the opponent's movements. The half guard is a transitional position that should be played with patience and control. Royler manages to pass the guard thanks to his perfect timing, and he keeps control of his opponent thereafter. A stronger and heavier opponent has obviously more power to unbalance you. It is crucial to keep the opponent's back on the floor and have the proper weight distribution on top of him. The key is to react with the right timing so that you can capitalize on the opponent's mistake. Sensitivity and timing are essential in jiu-jitsu, and this position illustrates this very well. Let's take a look at the technique from a more in-depth angle here. The technique is very appropriate when you feel that the opponent is active. When the opponent has a very dynamic game, or because you're leading the score, you know that he will try and sweep you. As you are on the top position, you are already in an advantageous position. However, you should make sure to control the opponent's head and leg and keep his back flat on the mat. You need to put very strong pressure with your arm that is underneath the opponent's head. The opponent will feel very uncomfortable and will try to get out at all costs. Your right hand has a grip on his leg, and the left hand is underneath the opponent's head, applying pressure with your shoulder toward his neck. Your left leg is bent and your hips are close to the opponent's hips. When you feel the opponent's impulse for the escape or the sweep attempt, you should kick out your leg right away. At this point, it is very important to maintain a strong control over the opponent. Your grip on the leg prevents him from replacing his guard. With your left arm, you keep controlling the opponent's upper body. Watch Royler's grip on the leg. His hand is securing the pants with his palm down. This allows him to push the leg down toward the floor to prevent the opponent to come on top. When Royler pushes the leg down, it also helps him to get more balance to jump to the side. The hand that was on the leg comes on the side of the opponent's hips. You now have control, and you are now in the side position. Let's take a look once again at the competition footage. We clearly see here in the competition match the importance of patience and timing on some of these positions. Royler is known to methodically improve the positions in order to induce the opponent in making a mistake. This is exactly what is happening here. When the opponent tries to bridge an escape, Royler kicks off his leg to pass the guard. The key of this position is the control of the leg and the upper body. It's even more clear here because Royler's opponent is very strong and explosive. Royler manages to control him, and when the opponent tries to go to his knees to escape, Royler even takes the back and is able to go for the finish. This is a national tournament that happened about 15 years ago. This classical half-guard pass is very efficient when all the steps are executed properly. Some athletes have developed a strong half-guard game from the bottom. Royler's opponent has a strong position. He is on the side, securing Royler's leg very tightly. Royler tries to take off his leg, but the opponent has strong control over him. Once Royler gets an underhook underneath the opponent's arm and switches his body to the other side, he passes the guard rather easily. So let's take a look more in depth at this classical half guard underhook pass. This technique has to be executed properly without missing any steps. Otherwise, your opponent will get the control of the position. When executed methodically, it is a rather simple yet very strong position. Like in any half-guard passes, if you don't have good control on the opponent's body, or if you rely on speed to try to pass from the get-go, you will lose the position. Your opponent will either escape or sweep you. To start the position with your left arm underneath the opponent's head, your right hand is securing the belt while your elbow is pushing on the opponent's leg in order to free your knee. At the same time, you scoop your hips and get your left knee close to your opponent's hips. You are now in the right position to switch your base. Your right hand comes underneath the opponent's arm to get the underhook. Right away, you lift up your hips and turn your knee to the left side. Your left foot now pushes on the opponent's knee so that you can free your right foot. It's essential to push on the opponent's leg in order to free your knee out. Your foot comes toward the opponent's hips while your elbow is pushing the leg. The way you secure the opponent's head is different from the prior position. This time you shouldn't put too much pressure on the opponent's neck. Otherwise he will feel threatened and he will actively try to get out of the position as fast as possible. Watch how Royler scissors his leg in a quick hip movement in order to get on his knees and get into side control position. Again, let's take a look at the position here. He frees the leg, comes into side control position. Here again, from another angle, he gets the underhook, frees the leg, comes to side control. Let's get back right now to the competition footage. Here, again, we can see that Royler's opponent has strong control over Royler's leg. As Royler is actively trying to take his leg off, the opponent doesn't expect him to go for the underhook. Once Royler gets the underhook, he reaches a strong position. Watch how Royler's opponent loses all of his control over the position once he gets his back flat on the mat. Royler reaches side control with his arms around the opponent's head and arm. Now he's ready to set up an attack.